Alright, hello citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel here once again, and this is going to be another wrestling match review. Or I should say wrestling matches review. Now, the original plan was to review Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 28. Not just because A, there's a lot to unpack when it comes to that, but B, we are going to need it for a later review. Actually, a couple. I'm sure you probably know where this is going, but we will cross that bridge when we come to it. But I decided I'd sneak in their match the year before and lump that in because, admittedly, the match at WrestleMania 28 is pretty short, infamously short, in fact, only 18 seconds. So I figured I would throw in another match for the purpose of review. And as it turns out, it's not just two matches, but it's technically three, and you're gonna find out what that means in a moment. But let's look at the whole Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan saga, starting at WrestleMania 27. At least Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 27, and or Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania the saga. There we go. But as always, I am not a professional wrestling reviewer, analyst, or anything like that. Just a man who has a good time. Did not have it here. I'll be completely honest. Across any of the matches, unfortunately. Well, I can't necessarily say that. Let's get into it. You'll see what I mean. So, if you've seen these reviews of mine before, you kind of already know how this works. If you haven't, gonna be talking about what I liked and disliked about the match. As for how we got here, in case you care, that's actually a good question. Hang on. Doesn't even show the. Uh, it just shows the build up for the main matches. Not for this match. Which this match, Shane versus Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 27. This match is on the pre-show. From what I've been able to remember slash piece together, Sheamus beat Daniel Bryan for the United States Championship, and so this is essentially the rematch. And man, what a fall off Sheamus has had, had going into this WrestleMania compared to like last year or even like leading up to that. So when Sheamus first came into WWE, I remember this vividly. They pretty much gave him like the Brock Lesnar treatment. He came in, pretty much dominated, won the WWE Championship within like his first like couple months within WWE, at least on the main roster. He was in developmental, FCW and everything. But in terms of being brought up, or it might have been OVW, I forget exactly. But in terms of being brought up, they pushed him big. He showed up, won the WWE Championship within his like first few months with the company, and beat John Cena of all people for it. He beat him twice even to retain the WWE Championship. So Sheamus was WWE Champion. He eventually lost the title, but he had a match against Triple H at WrestleMania 26, the year before this one, and then from there, Sheamus would win King of the Ring, have one of the ugliest King of the Ring designs ever, but he was still King Sheamus. To go from all of that to pre-show, defending on the pre-show for the United States Championship. Now, there was something good that came out of this. Sheamus's red, white, and blue attire was actually pretty sick, but to go from that to pre-show against Daniel Bryan, and no offense to Daniel Bryan, which Daniel Bryan was part of the Nexus, got fired, but thankfully brought back before SummerSlam. Hey, can you imagine like if Daniel Bryan had gotten fired? So he got fired during the Nexus beatdown. I don't know, like John Cena when they all like attacked Sheamus and John Cena when they fought. Like the Nexus showed up, attacked everyone. Daniel Bryan got fired for real because he choked Justin Roberts with his own tie. It's crazy how they would both end up in AEW together several years later, like a decade plus later. But he was in a lot of trouble. He was in very hot water. So, because they felt it was too graphic. Compared to some of the other stuff on WWE programming, seems a little hypocritical, but the sponsors felt it was too graphic. I forget which sponsor in particular, but they were like, nope. You gotta get rid of him. Daniel Bryan, you gotta go. But thankfully, they were able to bring him back for SummerSlam as part of Team WWE. So, crisis averted for the time being, at least. And I'm sure Team Nexus versus Team WWE is a SummerSlam match I'll have to review at some point. I might even do it this year. I'm not sure because I haven't put together my SummerSlam matches to review just yet. But but Daniel Bryan brought back, had kind of a feud with The Miz, who was his like mentor in NXT. He was his pro. This was back when NXT was still in its like weird game show era. But but he had his feud with The Miz, even beat him for the United States Championship. So that's how Daniel Bryan got the title in the first place, and then lost it to Sheamus, and that leads to this match here. So, this match is a lumberjack match. So, the ring is surrounded by a bunch of lumberjacks, and and that's gonna be important for in just a moment. As for the action for this lumberjack match, it's only about 4 minutes. What happens afterwards is longer than the regular match. The regular match between Sheamus and Daniel Bryan, I thought was okay. It wasn't anything super duper spectacular, mainly because it was so short. But eventually the lumberjacks are like throwing Sheamus in, throwing Daniel Bryan in. Then eventually the lumberjacks start fighting Sheamus and Daniel Bryan. Then they kind of start fighting each other. So the referee throws the match out. Teddy Long comes out. He says that the lumberjacks fighting because they want to fight. Everybody get in the ring. He's inviting everybody into the ring for an impromptu battle royal. He literally calls it an impromptu battle royal, and walks off. He would have invited The Undertaker, but of course Undertaker was facing Triple H, so he was busy that night. But it then turns into a battle royal, and the battle royal really isn't that interesting either. Or I remember around this time they were having a lot of battle royals. Now that I think about it, granted, WWE has had a rich history of battle royals, but I remember specifically around this time they were having a lot of battle royals, and this was even before they would have like the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal that used to be a WrestleMania. Now is no longer on WrestleMania. It's usually saved for like the SmackDown before or slash Raw before, or even around that general area. I imagine in a couple of years it'll be done away with entirely, but for now they're still pretending to care at least. But it morphs into a battle royal. The battle royal, not that interesting. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's pretty dull. Oh, something of note here: there are 4 future world champions in this battle royal. I would have counted Sheamus, but he's already been world champion up to this point. And yeah, 4 future world champions. And one of them is one half of the Usos, which is crazy. But eventually it is won by the Great Khali, who Sheamus and Daniel Bryan do make it to the final 3, so that's something, I guess. But Khali eventually throws Sheamus out. So I guess if I had to find what I liked and disliked about those matches, which I kind of lump in together. At first, I was confused, like why I couldn't find Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan on YouTube. I just saw the Battle Royal, and then I realized the Lumberjack match morphed into the Battle Royal, so that cleared up my confusion there. But if I had to find something to like and dislike, I guess what I liked for the Lumberjack match portion, the action, like I said, was okay, but it wasn't able to get into that second gear because it was so short. And then I guess for the battle royal portion, the historical significance, knowing how many would be either world champion or at least would rise up the card. Not all of these guys would rise up the card, but a few of them. But hell, like Mark Henry later in the year would start like the Hall of Pain and everything, that's something. But yeah. In terms of what I dislike, pretty dull stuff all around. But now, moving into WrestleMania 28, it's time for that match. That being Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan, this time for the World Heavyweight Championship. How we got to this one is Sheamus won the Royal Rumble match and is challenging Daniel Bryan to to the match to a match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Those were words. But at this point, Daniel Bryan has undergone a huge metamorphosis in a way. He won the Money in the Bank. He won the 2011 Money in the Bank, cashed in, and turned heel. And became World Heavyweight Champion. He cashed in on both Big Show and Mark Henry. And now this is around the time where he's doing like he started doing the yes, but then as it got popular, then that's when he started doing the no. So this was around that time. Meanwhile, Sheamus had also turned face, and so it was more embracing the fans and everything. So, what a difference a year makes. But as the story famously goes, the bell rings, and Daniel Bryan gives AJ Lee a kiss, and then boom, right into a bro kick. 1, 2, 3. Sheamus wins the World Heavyweight Championship. The celebration afterwards is longer than the actual match, but Sheamus wins the World Heavyweight Championship. Daniel Bryan he is like absolutely, he just like gobsmacked that he lost us in such quick fashion, and it's something that they milk quite a bit over pretty much like the next few years, but especially like the next few months. And it does lead to like the storyline breakup and everything of like Daniel Bryan and AJ Lee, and it does lead to Team Hell No, and in a way, it does lead to the Yes movement. So I guess the merits I can give it is it inadvertently, in a way, leads to the Yes movement, and it was actually kind of funny. If you're gonna do squash matches, at least make them like funny or have them serve a purpose. This one did mainly the first one, kind of unintentionally did the second one, but admittedly it was pretty funny. But I guess the dislike is way too short. My question is, like, having watched and now I guess reviewed these matches, is why couldn't Sheamus and Daniel Bryan just have a normal match at WrestleMania? Would that have been hard to have them just have a normal match at WrestleMania? Like, why couldn't they just have a normal match? Like Daniel Bryan, probably one of the best wrestlers in the world, slash Bryan Danielson, probably one of the best wrestlers on the planet. It's someone who is absolutely capable of putting on an absolute banger. He could wrestle a broomstick. He could wrestle this can of Lysol, and it'd be 5 stars, maybe even 6. Meanwhile, Sheamus, I also like Sheamus. Is someone I know is capable of putting on a good match, but for whatever reason, they didn't allow them to just have like a normal match. They would have a rematch, I believe, at Extreme Rules. I believe it was the next pay-per-view after this. Yeah, Extreme Rules. They would have a rematch, and we'll probably review that next month. Which I guess that might be a tradition. Like, the March will be like the WrestleMania reviews. April will be like the afterwards stuff, like the Backlash, Extreme Rules, the stuff after WrestleMania. Excuse me. But yeah, I wish we were able to get like a regular match. Just let them go and do their thing at WrestleMania. But sadly, we never got that. And even Sheamus has admitted, more specifically his match at WrestleMania 27. He's admitted it was not his best work. It was probably one of his worst matches. And I'm kind of inclined to agree. Now, are there probably a few more examples I could pull of some not great Sheamus matches? Probably, but I'd say, hey, yeah, I kind of agree with Sheamus. This is not one of his best. But, and sadly, not really his fault. It's kind of the hand he was dealt. But nevertheless, that is going to do it for this review. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Turn on those post notifications so you know every single time I upload a video, so you never miss an upload. And let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on these matches, my review of these matches. Do you like these matches? Do you like my review of these matches? Let me know. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys later. Peace.